It is now official. We have breaking news. Donald Trump's VP pick is finally in, and potentially the next Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. It is now official. J.D. Vance is Donald Trump's vice presidential selection, and potentially the next Vice President of the United States, replacing Kamala Harris. So this video is going to be, quick, not too long. I'm just going to be breaking down my thoughts on his pick and if this was a good or bad pick. So in my opinion, I would be grading this a C+. I really do think that there were much better options than someone like J.D. Vance, but there's also much worse. For example, I think Doug Burgum is much worse than J.D. Vance, so that is, good on Trump's part. But I also do think someone like Glenn Youngkin is far, far much better than someone like J.D. Vance. Even Vivek Ramaswamy or Tulsi Gabbard, who's not even a Republican, by the way, in my opinion, is far much better than someone like J.D. Vance. I think he's just mid, in my opinion. He's probably in the middle of the pack. He's not really good. I think he's good for MAGA. Obviously, he appeals to the MAGA base, and he does not do good with, obviously, the establishment. I would say he's very anti-establishment, and he does not do good with the neocons, the rhinos, and also he doesn't do that well with independent voters and undecided voters, so that actually might hurt Trump. But still, obviously, you can argue that he is better than Kamala Harris at this point because she's just so unpopular. And even in the Democratic, primaries back in 2020, Kamala Harris did so poor to the point where she had to drop out very early. So at this point, you can say pretty much anybody is better than Kamala Harris at this point. But when J.D. Vance does debate Kamala Harris, it's the question is basically, can he beat her to a debate one-on-one? And I'm not quite sure. I think he personally can. I think he's better than Mike Pence when it comes to debates. Mike Pence was awful in my opinion. I do think personally Kamala Harris barely beat Mike Pence back in 2020, so I think J.D. Vance is a slight improvement in that aspect, but still I think there are much better options. I just don't think he appeals to independence, which is key to winning this election. But still, regardless of Trump's VP pick, I still think he is more than likely going to defeat Joe Biden this November. So me personally, if I'm Donald Trump, I would not go with him. I also would not go to, with Doug Burgum. I would also not pick Marco Rubio. My number one choice is Tulsi Gabbard. But obviously, if it's not her, my second choice would be Glenn Youngkin. If it's not him, my third choice would be Lee Zeldin. And J.D. Vance, me personally, was not on my list. But we all know, this is not a surprise. We all knew it was going to be either J.D. Vance, either Doug Burgum. Which, by the way, if you went to Trump's website, I believe Doug Burgum was actually linked on the thing, which I think that's kind of a troll because it ended up being J.D. Vance and not Doug Burgum. So that had nothing to do with the actual pick. So if you were to ask me, is this a solid choice? I would be truthful, and I would tell you that it's not. In my opinion, I would not pick J.D. Vance. I just think he's too much, MAGA. I think, when you pick a VP, you have to pick someone that can balance out the base, right? You have to, pick someone that can balance out the base, and you're just picking, 2.0 of yourself, which is not really good because he's pretty much MAGA already. And in my opinion, if I'm Donald Trump, well, actually, he needs to pick someone who's loyal, and he made that clear. He would pick someone who's loyal, and it kind of makes sense. So this is no surprise. It should not be a shocker to anybody. We all knew this was going to happen. But that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on J.D. Vance as Trump's vice president, pick and potential next vice president of the United States. Do you think that J.D. Vance is a good or bad pick? And who, if he's not, who else would you have picked? In my opinion, I would probably go with Glenn Youngkin. I think that's far, far much better, especially what happened with the failed assassination attempt. I think the pick would be much more serious now, and Trump went with someone loyal, who he can trust, not like someone who's a neocon and establishment like Mike Pence, who you just cannot trust. So it really does make sense. Make sure you guys subscribe, click the bell. Don't forget that we have memberships. You can find a link to that in the description section if you are interested. So that's pretty much it. Thank you everyone for watching.